By now, you may have heard that the US Congress and Senate passed a bill that essentially bans TikTok, and that President Biden signed that bill into law.
Now that President Biden has signed that foreign aid package, many are wondering about another part of it concerning the future of TikTok.
That's right, the clock's now started on the time the China-based owner of TikTok has to sell it or face a ban in the US. Fox 5.
If you're new to this topic, you might be wondering, why does the US government care so much about a social media company to actually ban it? Or you may just be concerned that your favorite social media app might just be going away. Hi, I'm Michael. In this video, I'll answer your questions about why TikTok is being banned, how this ban impacts your privacy, and what you can do to protect your personal information online. The move to ban TikTok actually started in 2020 during the Trump administration. Back then, politicians were concerned that TikTok had a relationship with its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, and that the Chinese parent company also had a relationship with the Chinese government. The main issue was that TikTok is subject to Chinese security laws, and this law requires that all Chinese companies must comply with any government requests. That means that TikTok may be required to share data, especially American data, with the Chinese government. For the US government, this is a huge national security threat. The US government is worried that the Chinese government could use TikTok to influence the 170 million Americans that enjoy using TikTok. In August 2020, then President Trump issued an executive order that would essentially ban TikTok if it wasn't sold within 45 days. Later though, Trump signed a new executive order giving ByteDance, the parent company, another 90 days to sell its TikTok US operations. After these executive orders, Oracle entered the race to buy TikTok's US operations. By September 2020, Oracle was set to acquire TikTok. However, on October 30th, a federal judge ruled against the ban. The judge said that TikTok being a national security threat was phrased in the hypothetical, meaning that yes, the US government believes TikTok could be a national security threat, but they haven't provided the evidence to prove it. In December of the same year, another federal judge ruled against the ban as well. The judge said that the ban was arbitrary and inconsistent because it did not consider other solutions for the government's problems. Both of these court rulings essentially delayed the ban. And then, in February 2021, the deal to sell TikTok basically failed. The newly elected president, Joe Biden, shut the TikTok case because he had to review the executive orders, especially from the previous administration, and any security risk associated. But around this time though, TikTok reportedly walked away from Oracle's deal. Now fast forward to February 2023, the White House ordered all US federal agencies to delete TikTok from every mobile device issued by the government. This was because of national security concerns. Like I said earlier, the US government is very concerned that TikTok will share data with the Chinese government, even if TikTok claims it will not. This issue of national security became even more prominent nationally when a Chinese spy balloon was spotted in US airspace. In fact, other US ally countries such as Canada and EU countries have also banned TikTok from all government devices because of national security concerns. In March 2023, TikTok CEO Shou Zi attended a congressional hearing in Washington, D.C. that lasted 5 hours.
Let me start by addressing a few misconceptions about ByteDance, of which we are a subsidiary. ByteDance is not owned or controlled by the Chinese government. It's a private company. 60% of the company is owned by global institutional investors, 20% is owned by the founder, and 20% owned by employees around the world. ByteDance has 5 board members, 3 of them are American.
Chu was asked if TikTok is a Chinese company, to which he responded with an explanation about TikTok's US operations. Another question was, how can TikTok promise that American data won't be accessed by the Chinese government? Chu explained Project Texas, which was a plan to ensure that American data would be stored on American soil and managed by an American company.
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
Well, you know what?
I have asked that
I find that actually preposterous.
I have looked in, I have seen no evidence of this happening. And in order to assure everybody here and all our users, our commitment is to move their data into the United States to be stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American.
Despite TikTok's assurances to lawmakers, lawmakers just didn't believe TikTok because they expected that their relationship with China will remain strong. Also, lawmakers are worried that China could use its national security laws to access US, citizens' TikTok data. In April of this year, President Biden signed a bill that gives TikTok a year to sell its US operations, or it will be banned in America. This bill also provided foreign aid for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine. This bill passed with overwhelming support from both Democrats and Republicans in Congress and in Senate, which basically means that it will be very hard for TikTok to win, especially when it challenges in the courts. To contest this law, TikTok would first need to seek judicial review in a lower federal court, typically a district court. If the decision is appealed, it could then move to U.S. Court of Appeals, and ultimately, the Supreme Court will have to decide whether to hear the case and determine if the law to ban TikTok is unconstitutional. TikTok called the ban unconstitutional and vowed to fight it. Its CEO said that he's confident that the facts and the Constitution are on their side. Just recently, TikTok filed a petition to block the bill that President Biden just signed. In the petition, TikTok claimed that Congress has enacted a law that subjects a single speech platform to permanent ban and bars Americans from participating in a quote-unquote unique online community. This is just the start of a long legal battle that will decide whether TikTok ban violates the First Amendment. Even if TikTok is not banned in the US yet, it's already banned in other countries, including India, Afghanistan, Austria, Canada, France, and 27 other countries worldwide. Even China banned TikTok. Basically, TikTok's international version is not allowed in China. Only TikTok's Chinese version, Douyin, is allowed because it can be censored and regulated by the Chinese government. So, will TikTok be banned in the US? Well, we'll find out in about a year. Still, there's a chance that things could take longer, even if the US government has a stronger legal footing this time around. But here's what you need to understand. Even if TikTok is not sharing data with the Chinese government, the app still collects user data. I mean, there's evidence proving that TikTok is accumulating lots of user data. TikTok's privacy policy shows that the app automatically collects data like your location, an IP address, search history, and more. Even if TikTok is not affiliated with the Chinese government, they still collect your data. And even if TikTok gets banned, it won't solve the problem of social media platforms just collecting your data. Here's why. Other social media platforms still collect user data, including those in the US. For example, there's Facebook. Facebook's privacy policy, which covers Instagram, Threads, Messenger, shows that they also collect user data like email addresses, phone numbers, activities that you engage in on the platform, like what posts you liked, what posts you made, who are your friends, what other websites you visited, or even apps that you use inside of Facebook. And aside from Facebook, there are other platforms, right? there's Twitter, there's Snapchat, just Pinterest, there's LinkedIn, and so much more. All of these apps collect data on you. These social media platforms' privacy policies all show how much data they collect on us. TikTok isn't even the most used social media platform. Just look at this data from Pew Research. Facebook and Instagram have more American adult users than TikTok. Globally, Facebook still has more users than TikTok and other social media platforms. So, if other social media platforms collect data, how will banning TikTok make your personal information secure? The answer is, it doesn't. As Catriona Fitzgerald, the Deputy Director of Electronic Privacy Information Center, said, what we need is for Congress to pass a privacy law that applies to all apps. She also said that even if TikTok gets banned, apps will still collect the most intimate details about us and profit off of them. And the web of data brokers who buy and sell our data will just continue to exist because there's no law that's banning them. Now, some of you might ask, why is it a problem that TikTok and other social media platforms collect our user data? And that we will answer next. One problem is that your data stored on a social media platform is at risk of being breached. For example, in 2021, Facebook experienced a large data breach where 533 million users' data was stolen. The breach affected users from 106 countries with over 32 million records of American users. The breach affected users from 106 countries with over 32 million records of American users exposed. The affected data included Facebook IDs, phone numbers, full names, locations, email addresses, birthdays, and profile bios. And this wasn't even the first time that Facebook experienced such a massive data breach. In fact, in 2018, it was revealed that 50 million Facebook profiles of American users were collected and exploited for research. Cambridge Analytica, a data analytics firm, collected these profiles without users' consent. This data was used to profile US voters and target them with personalized political ads. Long story short, this incident raised concerns about Facebook's data privacy practices, and Facebook's CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, was questioned by Congress. These cases are just examples of how unsafe your social media data can be. Another problem is that the more data you share on social media, the more at risk you are for being targeted by cyber criminals. One example is the case of Alexandra Martinez. Alexandra became a victim of identity theft on social media. A man named Spaz Zakila created a Facebook profile under the name of Alexander Nikolov, using photos and personal information from Alexander Martinez's Facebook profile. With that fake account, Spaz essentially scammed people by offering them flight discounts and collecting their personal information. Many Facebook users trusted the account because it had pictures of Alexander Martinez, which were from his private account. Spaz managed to download them and use them. This continued for over 5 years until Spaz was arrested by Bulgarian authorities and the fake account was taken down. When Alexander Martinez found out about the fake identity, he confirmed that the uploaded pictures were, in fact, his. He said he was like seeing a ghost, and he wasn't sure how Spaz got his information in the first place because his Facebook profile was private. This case is just one example of how your social media data can be taken advantage of. And maybe, who knows, maybe your identity is being used right now and you wouldn't know. That's how serious this is and why you should care that TikTok and other social media platforms are collecting your information. Now that you know how your information can be compromised, let's talk about how you can start to protect yourself. If you're now anxious about your data being on social media, and if you want to make sure that your sensitive information is private and safe from scammers, well, one thing you can do is you can visit www.mydataremoval.com. There, you can run a free scan and see where your personal information is showing up online. You can also use our free opt-out guides to remove your information manually. All you have to do is just follow the steps and refer to the list of data brokers and people search sites that may have your information. And if you don't want to spend the 40 to 100 hours to manually remove your data from hundreds of data broker sites, you can sign up to one of our services. We have plans that will automate the data removal process for you. Now, if you still want to watch TikTok videos, since TikTok is not yet banned in the US, you should at least make changes to your TikTok settings. Before we get to that, remember also to update your privacy settings on all the other social media platforms that you use. In another video, we will cover the privacy settings of other social media platforms, but for this one, we'll focus on TikTok's privacy settings, especially the ones that you should change. For your TikTok profile, you can make it so that others won't be able to follow you right away or see your content, especially if you're not comfortable with them doing so. And here's how. Open the app and go to the settings and privacy page. Click privacy. Turn on the private account. You can also make your account harder to find by others by just selecting just below the private account. Click suggest your account to others. Turn off all toggles. This will prevent people from finding your account automatically. To unlink your contacts so TikTok won't collect information on your friends and relatives, go to settings and privacy, click privacy, select sync contact and third-party apps, turn off sync to contact, Facebook and friend, and any other option. You can also remove previously synced contacts and friends. But you have to understand that making these changes will only make your account private from other users or third parties. TikTok still collects your data as you use the platform every day. Even if you watch TikTok videos as a guest, TikTok can still access your IP address and even device information. Now that you know all about TikTok ban and how social media companies collect your data, well, what do you think? Should other social media apps have more regulatory controls to reduce data collection? Let us know in the comments. Also, do us a favor, subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of the data privacy updates that we've got coming for you. And as always, this is My Data Removal. We help you secure your most valuable asset, and that is your personal data. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.